Truth, according to different dictionary definitions, can be described as, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, the quality or state of being true, that which is true or in accordance with fact or reality. The Cambridge Dictionary, the quality of being real or accurate, a fact or principle that is thought to be true by most people. And, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the body of real things, events, and facts, the state of being the case, a transcendent, fundamental, or spiritual reality, that which is in accordance with fact or reality, the quality or state of being true. In Latin it is veritas, meaning truth, factual correctness, or moral truth. In Greek it is aletheia, meaning unhiddenness, referring to truth as unveiling. In Hebrew it is emet, meaning truth, faithfulness, or reliability. And in Arabic it is alak, meaning the truth, also one. Truth, they say, is constant. It is unchanging, an anchor in a sea of shifting belief, a lighthouse when all is fog. And yet, one man's truth is another man's lie. One tribe's gospel, another's heresy. We use the word every day. Tell the truth. Stand for the truth. Speak your truth. But what do we really mean? This question, ancient, burning, and relentless, still echoes across centuries, across temples, and across minds today. In my brief time here on Earth, I have come to find out that there is really only one truth on this planet, something that humanity has taken for granted time and time again. And that is what I would love to refer to as the source of all creation, whom religion has called God. Just so you guys know, I am Catholic, but even at that, I do not stand for the criticism of other religions or beliefs. Why? You might ask. Well, because I believe that in every religion there are fragments of truth, and no one religion is entirely true. Not because God is absent in them, or because they're lying, but because man is the one in charge of them, and man's very nature is flawed. We argue over doctrine. We divide over form. But the truth is not confined to temples or texts. The truth came as a person who stood before a governor, beaten and bleeding, as a prophet who delivered the Quran as divine revelation, as a monk who sought to achieve true enlightenment, to reach nirvana, and as all great religious figures who came to gift humanity the answer to what I would argue as the most fundamental question in world history, even to this day. Why? What is the reason? What is the purpose of it all? What is the truth? And the answer to that question, I would dare again to say, is and has always been right in front of us, common but resting in plain sight. And that is the source of creation itself, the ultimate being whom we Christians refer to as God, the Muslims as Allah, the Buddhists as Buddha, and even science as the ever-expanding universe. So now, if we do say that God is the only and absolute truth, does that mean everything else is a lie? Does it mean what science teaches us about the universe is false? That history is flawed? That the world we see, the normalcy we've known, all of what we've been taught and told is just a bunch of bullocks? And what about us, humans? Do we have no say in our path? Are we simply pawns, slaves to some divine blueprint with no will of our own? Well, no, truth does not cancel reason, and God is not the enemy of curiosity. To answer these questions, we must face a far older, deeper question. Who is God? Not who religion says he is, not who tradition shaped him to be, but who he really is, in essence, in character, in truth. Join me as we unravel the mysteries and bring out the answer and truth to the question, who is God? I have a question for you guys. Do you agree that if there is a God, then God must be a divine being of unlimited, unimaginable capability? That he's not just powerful, he's all-powerful, in a way the human mind with all its brilliance still can't comprehend? Let's be honest. If we haven't even totally figured out the mysteries surrounding other aspects of life, like that of death, dreams, and even the human consciousness, how do we then expect to fully comprehend the force that made it all? I'm not trying to preach. This isn't religion talking or science teaching. I'm asking you use your gift of reasoning and think for a second that such a force exists, a being of total awareness, of essence, of form, of uncontainable creativity. Wouldn't such a being be able to express itself in any form and from any dimension it chooses? In feelings, in dreams, in natural phenomena, in thoughts, in ideas, and even in metaphors. Because if he truly is all-powerful, then his form cannot be just one, can it? He can come in any form and dimension it pleases. Yes? So now we have an image forming in our minds. Not a man in the sky, but a presence that is the sky, and the air, and the voice in your conscience that whispers, "Don't go there, don't do that." Then again, I believe you've heard or come across the phrase, "Pride is the devil." Now I offer a new one. Love is God, and I mean that literally. Because if there are forces that exist, then God is the most obvious, ideal, and underrated force of them all. He can show up as an instinct, as a friend's text when you needed it most, as the voice in the fire, as the miracle you didn't recognize. It's like the fourth and higher dimensional beings in fictional stories. Higher life forms existing beyond your frame of reference. Only this time, it's not fiction. So when I say God is truth, light, love, I mean that literally. He's not just all good and all loving. He's everything good, and the very origin of love in the universe. Which brings us to something bold, and possibly controversial, which is a fact that we are all an extensions of that force. Hence, we are God, but also different from him, as part of the whole and also a head leading the whole. Every spark of kindness, every act of courage, every moment you knew you were meant for more, that's him in you. So yes, while he exists as a supreme, almighty being, the ultimate form of all power, he also exists in you. Not because you are God in fullness, but because God is in you, in a complex way in which you're probably only just beginning to understand. Now, another subject on this matter for all of you. If we all agree that there is the truth, then surely there must be its opposite. If there is light, then there is darkness that flees from it. If there is God, then there is a force that tries to replace him. The world doesn't reject truth because it's false. It rejects truth because truth is hard, heavy, humbling, and nothing resists humility more than the ego. You see, if God is truth, then the ego is the lie that wants to be believed. It says, I am the center. It says, I define what's right. It says, I don't need help. I don't need God. I am God. And in that declaration, the ego becomes a shadow god, a loud imposter, the ancient whisper in Eden that still hisses today. You shall not surely die. Make no mistake. Ego isn't just a personality flaw. It's a force, a spirit, and in many ways, it is the devil. Ego is the force that separates man from his source, the source of all creation. It tells you you are enough without God, when in truth, it's God in you that makes you enough. And while it may not be as powerful as truth, it is persuasive, it is deceptive, because lies are easy to swallow, and ego flatters, but truth convicts. The world, driven by ego, makes self into savior. We build gods of fame, thrones out of followers, and kingdoms out of attention spans, because the ego craves worship, and we are all too willing to bow. Even if the altar is made of glass and screens, glitter and gold, fame and power, smoke and mirrors. But let's make something very clear. Ego is not creative. Ego cannot give life. It only distorts what already exists. It's the counterfeit to truth, the noise that distracts you from the whisper, the storm that covers the still, small voice. The ego thrives in confusion, in pride, in the fear of surrender. Because surrender is the ego's death sentence, and truth is the courtroom it never wins in. So yes, the ego is a god, but it is a weak god, one that thinks it can oppose the strong one, a con artist, a noisy god, an insecure one at that. Whereas truth doesn't need to shout. It just is. And every lie, no matter how dressed up, will eventually bow to what simply is. If God who is love is truth, and the devil who is pride is the lie, then what does that make you? Caught between two worlds, between two voices, one that calls you back to the source, and the other that convinces you to be your own. You are the mirror, the image bearer, the battlefield, made of dust, yes, but filled with divine breath. Your body is of the earth, but your essence is eternal. But there's a hard pill to swallow, the hard truth. And that is to reflect God, the absolute. The body must die. By this, I do not mean literal death, but death in surrender, in sacrifice. The things of this world, food, money, and mortal pleasure, are necessary all for survival, but dangerous when they become masters. This is the line where harmless actions can cross over to become harmful habits, where addictions are formed and one's addiction rules over him or her. Addiction begins where self becomes God, where desire dethrones discipline. But love, on the other hand, is real. It does not consider self. It is selfless. To find the divine, man must first die to self. He must let go of the throne inside him and surrender to the fire that purifies. Hence, being born again, become aware, reaching nirvana, because only what dies can be resurrected. You were made for more than this world, but this world will fight to keep you. You are not called to abandon it, but to rule over it, not through ego, but through love, because only in death to self do you begin to reflect the one who made you, and only in surrender do you discover the power you were always meant to carry. To the Muslim praying at dawn, to the Christian worshiping on Sunday, to the Buddhist in search of peace, to the Jew who reveres the scroll, to the seeker without a name, the skeptic who isn't sure, and the spiritual who left the system, to every corner of the earth, from temples to churches, from mosques to shrines, from streets to skyscrapers, villages to cities. I open this door, not to preach, nor to judge, but to invite you. Leave your background at the door, not in shame, but in humility, not because you were wrong, but because truth doesn't need walls to protect it. Let the Catholic and the atheist sit side by side in curiosity. Let the imam and the rabbi ask questions without fear. Let the scientist and the poet, the traditionalist and the radical, come together, not to argue, but to seek freedom in truth. Because freedom begins with truth, and in freedom, we grow. This is not a new religion. This is not a rebellion. This is a return to the voice within you, a return to the source above you, a return to the truth around you. You are welcome to Domus Veritatis, the house of truth. Our journey to learn and discover who God truly is begins now. Please, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.